Well, 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 well. Hello, everybody. How are you? How are you? How are you? How's everybody across America and around the globe now, we found out?
Oh, really?
People around the globe are watching this. So, greetings, bonjour, bonsoir. What else?
You have to learn some more greetings.
I have to have some more greetings from other countries and other languages. So anyway, greetings to everybody. We are the Jolleys. I'm Dr. Willie Jolley, and this is
Dee Taylor Jolley.
And we're the Jolleys, and we're the hosts of Happily Married Mondays with the Jolleys. And we're grateful. For those who don't know, we are the authors of the book, Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, 10 Secrets to Shape a Great Marriage. Available now, book and audio book. 7 CDs to inspire you while you ride, while you drive, and soon to be in Audible book. A couple other things we'll tell you about later.
And it's also digital.
Digital.
The whole package.
Oh yeah, you can get the whole package now digitally.
Yep.
Jollymarriage.com. You can get it
Right.
all downloaded to you. So we want to thank all of you who, wow, this last week has been phenomenal. Y'all kind of liked that thing about sex last week.
Phenomenal because we're talking about sex.
Woo! The response. Thousands of people. So we're going to get right to it because we got a lot to cover tonight. We got some questions that have come in from people who have some issues, and we're going to deal with them as well. But we're going to get started on part 2 of, what was the name of it? Correct name of it?
Are you being turned down in the bedroom?
Are you being turned down in the bedroom, and how can you get this fixed?
Well, the original title was, Are You Being Turned Down in the Bedroom, and 7 Reasons Why Your Mate May Not Be Interested in Sex with You.
Ooh.
So it turned to 7 plus reasons. There's so much information out there, different twists.
And
we attempted to focus on what were the key challenges that kept coming up.
And for those who don't know, we have a whole chapter in the book about sex. We have come to the realization that there are 3 major boulders that break up marriages: sex, money, communication. And of the 3, communication typically is the...
You can't communicate. How are you going to have sex if you don't communicate?
Communication is the key. So you got to communicate. You got to have conversations. And so...
All right, so just a little review because we covered like 4 or 5 on last week. And for review, if a couple's sex life is jacked up, then their relationship is probably jacked up, according to research, because the 2 things are closely tied. So your sex life tends to reflect what the rest of your relationship is about. So if it's not happening in the bedroom, it's probably not happening in terms of you guys communicating effectively with each other. And I'm stuck with what does communicating mean, which is actually how you're able to express yourself of what is going on inside. Not the table talk, how is work, what happened with the kids, but this is what I'm feeling, or I'm feeling rejected. This is how what's happening is making me feel, and what I think we need to do about it. What do you think we need to do about it? And those are very difficult conversations. According to research, I read Psychology Today. Psychology Today takes you to someplace else, which takes you to someplace else. Oh my God, it's just all over the place. That typically women check out emotionally, because this is what the research says, that women check out emotionally first.
Mm-hmm.
So when there's no intimacy, the touching, the feeling, they're like, I'm not interested. There's some emotional challenges going on. Then it becomes sexual because you're not interested.
Let me give you some...
Then from there, they check out completely.
So data from our book, actually. While an active sex life is usually seen as an important part of a healthy marriage, according to the Aspen Institute for the Study of Family and Cultures, 20% of married people have not had sex during the last month, 12% haven't had sex in 3 months, and 6% have not had sex in over a year. This data is from the Institute's Relationships in America survey, which sampled married adults ages 18 to 60. And according to data scientist Seth Stevens-Davidowitz, sexless marriage is one of the most frequently searched phrases on the internet. We did have in the book, our friend Rhonda Davis Smith shared with us that
with her informal survey from her friends.
From her informal survey from her friends who were divorcing, that all of them, 100% of them talked about the fact that when the intimacy stopped, or without the intimacy, there was...
The relationship went down to two. And they headed for divorce.
Down to two. So we want to get everybody mindful of what could be hurting your relationship or how to get your relationship moving again and going in the right direction. And so we talk about sex because it's a big deal. And I wanted to read some scripture as well.
So while you get the scripture,
go ahead.
Let me just say that sex is one of the most uncomfortable topics. That's the most intimate thing that you can do, right? The meeting of the flesh, but it's one of the most uncomfortable topics for couples to talk about. Right. But everybody's trying, when they're single, everybody's trying to get it. Then once you get married, then nobody wants to talk about it. And some people get in the bed and pull the sheets up and hope, oh my God, I hope he doesn't come in and touch me. You know, that is just utterly, it's crazy.
And the headache. You know that chapter is our chapter.
And there's avoidance. That's the word a lot of psychologists use. There's avoidance. So if I just go to work, do the meals, we talk about the kids, or we just have the meal, some light conversation, and then we go to bed, and then we don't touch each other. So avoidance, you don't talk about it, but it's still there, and it continues to become a major divisive factor. So the question becomes, you know, what are some of the challenges? Let's look at it and see, hopefully, that you don't see yourself.
Go ahead.
And then if you see yourself, what are you going to do about it? Well, we already know the answer is that you've got to talk to each other. That's the challenge. So we'll come back to, how do you get to talk to each other about such a sensitive, uncomfortable topic, even that's the closest thing that you're doing together, okay? So are you being turned down in the bedroom? So last week we covered 4 or 5 of these. And one, more from a woman's perspective, is that you're overwhelmed by life with the work, managing finances, the household, kind of keeping things in order, because research does show that still more than 60% of the households are basically run by women, the married spouses, but the women still take on the brunt of that responsibility.
And how do we fix that? Brothers, if you want to get some, then you need to help out the sisters. You got to help them out. They say, I'm overwhelmed. I got too much. I got the kids. I got to I got to cook. Say, don't worry about cooking. Don't worry about the food. Either I'll cook, or I'm going to KFC, or I'm going to somewhere and get some food, so you don't have to worry about that. What was the other one we talked about last week? Cleaning the house, right? House clean. When you said that the house cleaning was overwhelming you, what did I?
Got on my nerves.
What did I say?
Housekeeper.
What did I say?
You said get a housekeeper.
Get a housekeeper.
Because he's really not neat either, but he knew that that's something that was important to me.
That's right.
And that affected me emotionally, having everything neatly and in order. So he said, we'll get a house. So we figured that out with the budget.
We figured that out.
So I'd rather have a clean house than food. I know that's kind of extreme.
And I'd rather have...
What?
Sex! All right, sex! So if that's
to get to sex,
if that means I gotta get a
clean house.
Housekeeper! Housekeeper!
But I didn't deny
housekeeper! Somebody housekeeper!
But I didn't deny you.
No, you did not.
I didn't deny you.
But you said that made
me feel better.
That made you feel better.
Yes, and I was much more willing and amorous.
And I want amorous.
Having to clean house.
I want her to be amorous.
Okay. So one was, it's just, it's overwhelming. And 2 was duty sex is not fun.
No.
Now, what is duty sex?
Duty sex is, I gotta do it.
You know what? I have to say, Cheryl gave me a good alternative to saying that duty sex. She said, do you hop on and hop off? I said, oh, I gotta write that down.
That was good.
That's duty sex. Just lay there and do your business and hop on and hop. That's horrible.
That's terrible. So you don't want none of that. You want to be, gentlemen, you want to be loving and
Playful
and encouraging. And remember what I said last week, gentlemen? None of this.
You need to be mentally connected.
Yeah, you don't want to come home after and say to your wife, "You ready?
You both have worked hard.
You ready?" No, brothers.
Because we're different than men.
That's right. Look, how
We forgot.
Yeah.
We forgot microwave versus crock pot.
Gentlemen, men are microwave ovens. Hit the button, and it starts.
But we're going to talk about that some more too. Okay?
Women, on the other hand,
Gotta go find the crock pot. Oh my God.
women, crock pot. You gotta let it warm up, simmer. You gotta let it work
It's
to get
slow,
cooking.
and then we warm up.
So,
But the playfulness,
women are the crock pot, men are the microwave ovens.
playfulness, a sense of humor, just touching, teasing, being close.
So, man, if you want to be working on something
sex.
when you want some action at night, you got to start working on it in the morning. Because women are crock pots. They take you. You want
Sex takes time. It takes energy.
I send her notes in the morning. I
start working on it early in the day.
I take her coffee in the morning.
You can write yourself a note like, I got so much. It's 2 o'clock. It's time for me to send
that text.
Until it becomes more automatic.
Yes. You want to be romantic. I tell you, I'm romantic to her. I am romantic.
I think that's your nature. I think for some men, it's not.
I'm more by my nature romantic, but I'm extra romantic with you.
All right, I receive that.
Yeah.
Okay, 3, women want tenderness.
Try a little tenderness. They want tenderness. That's right. No rough, gruff.
Tenderness before sex.
And it's so much better with
intimacy.
Yeah, and
that helps with the arousal for women.
Yes. All right, go ahead.
Okay. And then 4, sometimes you don't get any because we're just stinky and we have yucky bodies, men and women. And let's say for the women, sometimes women don't feel very attractive. You have to be sensitive to that. Certain times of the month, I don't look the same as I had before I had kids. But I thought with that, the fact that how you make me feel beautiful.
Yes.
What you say.
Yes.
How you say it. And I think that's very important.
I heard years ago, I heard Fred Price, the preacher, say something. He was gentle on men. He said, "Man, if you think your wife going to look the same after she had a couple children as she did before, you're a fool." He said, "You're a fool. It's not possible. Their bodies don't just snap back into the original state. Their bodies change. So you've got to be mindful of that and be grateful for that. You wanted the children. I know I did. And we had children. And so your body might be different, but it's so wonderful."
So you still have to say or find something about them physically which is attractive other than just having penetration.
That's right. So,
right?
Yep. And we got some questions. I want to make sure because it's 9:15.
It's 9:15. Okay, I want to say on that point that there's a book by Christian sex therapist by the name of Douglas Rousseau. And the book is entitled Celebrating Sex After 50. Because a lot of studies have been done that say the thinking is that after 50, it falls apart.
Not for us.
Okay, not for us.
No, it ain't that.
And so,
that ain't happening. Okay,
the
that
book
ain't the answer.
by
I don't need that book.
But some might.
Some
It's
might.
The Christian
It's a mindset.
sex therapist, right? And the book is Celebrating Sex After 50, and it
Yeah.
offers helpful advice on how sex can be fulfilling at any age.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay.
And then the last one for the review was that it hurts. Sometimes intercourse hurts. And if that is the case, then run to the doctor.
Go to the doctor. And gentlemen, if you have
Yes.
performance issues, go to the doctor. And y'all know I've given you some of the natural vitamins that
Herbs.
the liquids: ashwagandha, eleuthero, damiana. All you can get at the health food store. You put a little bit in your juice or in your water. Popeye the Sailor Man. Whoop whoop.
But what I'm saying is, if it does hurt, it might hurt as a result of dryness and other issues.
But I ain't got
There's
no-
something
that's
you can do
that-
about that.
I'm
That's
talking to
the
men.
man part.
I'm
The
talking to
woman
men.
part, go to your
Right.
gynecologist and have an honest conversation. Nothing can improve if you won't have honest communication about what's going on with your body. Okay, then
Let me read the
that's
scripture.
a review.
In Proverbs, 5th chapter. I'm going to read it from the message version. It says, do you know, never take your love for granted. That's where this starts. It says, do you know that the saying, drink from your own rain barrel, draw water from your own spring-fed well? It's true. Otherwise, you may one day come home and find your barrel empty and your well polluted. Your spring water is for you and for you only, not to be passed around among strangers. Bless your fresh flowing fountain. Enjoy the wife you married as a young man, lovely as an angel, beautiful as a rose. Here's the one. Don't ever quit taking delight in her body. Never take her love for granted. Why would you trade enduring intimacies for cheap thrills with a hoe? That's what it says.
Oh, wow.
It says whore. But for dalliances with a promiscuous stranger. Mark well that God doesn't miss a move you make. So anyway, take full advantage of the fact that God endorses sex with married couples. And so I'm encouraging
Enjoy.
you. All right, let's talk about one of these questions, because one of these questions we got to deal with. We're not going to get to everything.
Okay, we didn't get to more focused issues about men.
All right,
we have
but
a whole set
we got a
of
whole
those.
set of that. We got to deal with that. But I got to deal with one of these questions. These questions that came in. And y'all can send us questions at info@williejolly.com. They can be anonymous if you like, but if you want us to be back in touch with you, of
Okay,
course.
one letter. Putting your career before marriage and family.
Okay.
That's the one? Or you want to do that one? Okay. I finally found...
No, that's through the one. That's through the other one that you got from Boston.
Okay. Former stay-at-home spouse resents having to get a job.
Okay.
Okay?
Uh-huh.
I'm an entrepreneur. Paying for health insurance is one of our biggest monthly bills. More than a mortgage. And it was killing me. I asked my spouse to please help with at least a part-time job since the kids are now both in school. My spouse got a job. Now it's dry city. No intimacy. No sex. Help.
So, with this one, we want to have a couple conversations. I want to do it one from a male's perspective and one from a female's perspective. So, as an entrepreneur, there's a lot of pressure, and health insurance and bills and costs,
Saving.
and all of that can be overwhelming. So, he asked her to help with bringing in more income, which she did, but that impacted her activities of what she was doing with her career or her love and her activities that were not focused on having a day job. Well, now there's tension. So, a couple things I want to say. One is that in the book we talk about the 4 F's for having the duff communication, conversations. Be friendly, be frank, be fair, be focused on a positive result. The other thing is that if this is impacting your sex life, then you can get counseling. And counseling is fair and fine.
But what if they're not talking to each other?
No, that's why we got that. Go back to the first one. The 4 F's for conversation. You got to get talking to each other. Be friendly.
Well, how do you get talking to a spouse who is annoyed with you? All right, now I did what you wanted me to do, and I'm not happy about it, and I'm going to make you suffer too.
Well, first of all, let's go back. I'm going to take everything we know from the book. 1, sex should never be a weapon. Ever.
But I don't feel like it because you've taken away my joy.
Let's talk about it. Okay? So what we're trying to do is get communication. When people shut down...
Trying to get a conversation going.
When people shut down, stop talking, then it just... what thought is a little crack becomes bigger. Before you know it, it's a big chasm.
So some kind of way... we have to start.
So that's first. First is let's have a conversation. What's the problem? And let's discuss it. Friendly, frank, fair, focus on the positive result. Then the next step is exactly what we said about the fact that, okay, now that we've had communication on this, how do we resolve it? So that we get back to a loving relationship, a loving marriage.
How do we each get something
that we want? That's the game.
I don't think it's
win-win. Go back. Friendly, frank, fair, focus on
one
positive result. Win-win. So everybody gets a little bit. We often will compromise. We've said it over and over in the book. We interviewed Bill and Vivian Clark. Been married for 45 years, I believe it is. And we said to them at dinner, "What's the secret to your long marriage?" And they said it almost in unison: compromise. I mean, they were like...
I think they look for ways to compromise. In some of the relationships with people that I talk to, I raise the question, are you not on the same page because you really have different agendas?
Different agendas are 2 different people.
Different agendas. Okay, you're married, but perhaps you married for very different reasons.
That's a whole nother thing.
You can't march down. You can't figure out how to march down this marriage relationship road together because you came with very different agenda. Is that a word?
Agenda.
And you're not being honest.
So, goes back to friendly, frank, fair. I'm telling you, this is foundational. These are systems. We have taught people who have gone from arguing on their way to divorce court through the book our systems. There's a system that we use for disagreeing. There's a system for what we use for talking about difficult conversations. If you use the systems that we offer and talk about and employ them, they work. They work. So let's go back to this question. Mm-hmm. Let's look at it. I've given the male standpoint to say he's an entrepreneur. Let's give another one. There's one more. There's another one.
Which one you want?
Let's do that one. Let's not do it. Let's do the first one. That came in.
Okay.
Right.
Putting your career before marriage and family.
Yeah.
I finally found my ideal career position. For years, I've been on this journey to find this particular job, but it requires 6 months of training in another state with only 1 week in a month at home. We have 2 children under the age of 5 years. My spouse did not want me to take the job. Now I'm in training and away from home. My spouse barely speaks to me. Help. And
when they barely speaking to you, you know, ain't nobody getting hooked up.
Well, if he's coming home once a month,
ain't no happenings. And they ain't talking, they teed off about the fact that
this didn't start when he said,
I want the job.
A position.
Well, when from what we got more detail in that, she just called it down. When he said, I've got this job I've been trying to get for years, and it's going to take, and the wife said, "Oh, I know you're not taking that. And he said, yeah, I am.
But it started before that with a lack of communication, with a lack of talking. This was not a surprise that this person had been
Wanting this.
on this career path
Right.
to get to this particular. So if you've been on this career path for several years as a married person, this is not a surprise to the spouse.
Right.
So maybe the spouse thought this would just simply never happen.
Maybe so. So now, once it happened, though, what do you do then?
Okay,
All right.
what is going to be the plan? Okay, all right,
So
I support you.
let's take us. I'm quitting my job. I'm going to become a full-time speaker.
Well, you did two things. Let's just say the first one. First
first
time you
one-
got fired and replaced by a karaoke machine and came home and told me that, I'm like, okay. You
But
said,
that
I don't know. I'll figure it out. I
figure it
said,
out.
yes, you will.
She supported me. The next time I quit my job,
You said, I can't take it.
I got to live my dream.
I got to live my dream,
And
and I'm quitting. I'm like, okay, figure it out.
So the lesson there is, if you support your spouse, now there are two parts to this. The part, I think, that earlier part, which is what you told my nephews yesterday at the wedding. My nephew got married yesterday. Noble and Stephanie, we want to congratulate
Yes.
them. But you told Noble and Nate, they're twins, about my keeping my promises.
I was going to go to that. You have always kept your word to me. So when something catastrophic happens, I quit my job, or I'm quitting my job, I can't take this. Okay? You've always worked it out. Always
But
made it
that-
happen.
All right,
And
so you had
I
a
can
level of trust.
There it is. It's the trust.
That's what I want to get to. Gentlemen and ladies, if you're going to have a successful marriage that will have the length and the breadth and the fullness, you've got to keep your word. If you say you're going to do it,
You're building trust with the relationship. You can't expect somebody to say, oh, we're going to up and move across country. We're going to, if you have not built up that trust over time.
so my dad told
I
me
know
my
it got
word is
me.
my bond.
Yes.
You say it, it's done.
Yes.
So when I told her, you stay in my mama's house for 1 year in her in our
Lived in
attic.
his mama's attic for 1 year, which I did not want to do. But it's
Right.
like, okay, all right, that's what we're going to do. Okay, then I'm in. So once we made the decision,
I said I will
and I
promise you.
I explained to him my challenges with that. Not that she wasn't a wonderful lady, but I had already had my own house. I had done all this other stuff. I didn't want to live. I wanted an apartment. He was like, can't go into an apartment. I'm not buying an apartment.
That's what I said.
We need to save money.
We got to save money so I can
Okay.
buy a house. And I said, you live in my mama's attic for 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you I'll buy you a house. And a year to the day, we moved in our house. From that day, I had established a foundation of trust. And it continued. And when I quit my job, I said, I'm going to make sure we keep the lights on, the phones on, and the bills paid. I don't know how we're going to do it now, but we're going to do it. And we've been able to do it. And that's 30 years ago.
And that's working together. Okay, all right. We don't know how we'll.
I don't know how we're
Work it
going to do it.
out.
We'll work it out. But she trusted me. And that's why I say you've got to do what you say. Keep your word. And that helps.
so you work on
One last thing.
establishing that trust.
One last thing. We talk about sex. That helps a brother get hooked up if he does what he says he's going to do, because she know he a man of his word. Hello.
It makes me feel safe and secure.
Security. Women need security, and they need intimacy and security. You got to keep your word and do what you say.
Time is up.
My time is up. Lord have mercy. Oh my goodness.
So
We got
we'll
so
do the
much.
next one.
All right, we'll do. Okay, here we go. Y'all told us last week very clearly we like this topic. So y'all want us to do it part 3?
Send questions.
Send questions,
share.
and we'll do as much as we
Yes.
can in a half hour. We got to give you some data, something from the book, something that'll powerfully impact you, and then some of your questions. Is that good?
Share.
Or is that good? Do I want it to do it a part 3? Hit us up. We're going to be out. We're going to California. We'll see you if you're in Southern California. We'll be in California this week.
Orange County.
Iowa next week during the week. So we'll be in Opalak. Oh, I'm getting it together. I have it next week. It's near Des Moines. Oskaloosa next the 23rd. If you're in the Oskaloosa or Des Moines area, come be a part of the activity. It's free to the community. I'm going to be speaking to the schools, to the business community, and to the community at large. All right, we out. This is Jolley. Get the book. Go to jollymarriage.com. Get the audio book. Get the seminar and get the workbook. All digital as well now. You can get it all at jollymarriage.com. See y'all. Jolley out.
Jolley out.